From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Digital Strategist at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's show, I have Ryan from Hyperdrive WP with me, and we're going to talk all about Hyperdrive WP. Sit back, relax, enjoy. The SDM show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here, and today I've got Ryan from Hyperdrive WP with me. How are you, Ryan?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, not bad for a Monday at the time of this record. It's all good. You know how the week starts off. So let's
Oh
just
yeah.
jump right in. When did you get involved in Hyperdrive, the WordPress space, and all of that? Like, what's your backstory a little bit?
Yeah, great question. So I started a company called Striventa. We're a full
Hmm.
business growth agency. And time again, as you know, being in the space, SEO rankings, local SEO content, everything revolved around, how do we get our clients not just ranking well and known, but actually driving qualified leads and actual business. And time again, it kept coming back to the foundation online, which is the website structure. And so a lot of our partners, we put them on our own custom WordPress built
Yep.
framework there, right? Not a theme, not a builder, but just how we would like to leverage WordPress.
Hmm.
And time again, they kept growing, faster than any other sites that we were managing. And so we definitely knew something was there. But after 10 years in the space, we're actually going to 12 years, but I would say this was about a
Yeah.
10-year endeavor. We're like, okay, we really need to make a product out of this to make this framework extension more approachable for other websites out there. And so that's how we got involved with Hyperdrive WP.
And it's funny, you're building products at a time where, I don't know, there's a lot of uncertainty in the space with what's gone on, the way things
Yeah.
have played out. I personally don't, I'm in the camp that I don't think WordPress is going anywhere. Obviously, I think you're in that camp a little bit as well, aren't you?
100%. Yeah. We believe that, your brick and mortar online is still going to be your website, and you
Yep.
have to build around it. You have to invest into it. I mean, whether it's, AI pulling in resources, ranking signals, you name it. I don't think that is going anywhere. I think it's actually becoming more and more important, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Because, a lot of people say, oh, I'll just run Google ads or I'll just run Facebook ads. And it's like, okay, well, where are
No.
you sending them to? Right. Where are you? And so
Yep.
again,
Yep.
I think when you actually really peel the onion back and you look at the purpose of a website, and how you can leverage it, I think it's actually becoming more and more important with all these changes going on.
No, I agree with you. Point and check. I remember about a year and a half ago, Instagram went down, and all these people that
Yeah.
thought, "Oh, I would just run an Instagram store, not a proper web store," were all clamoring after Instagram was down for a whole day to get
Yeah.
websites up, realizing you can't just place your emphasis on social media anymore. So,
Yeah.
it was a hard lesson for a lot of reality check, don't you think?
100%. Yeah. When you have all your eggs in one basket and that basket
Yeah.
gets thrown out the window, it's never a good sign. So that's why I like, obviously, the websites will always be versatile, always be foundations, can be flexible, can be pivoted and moved.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Hyperdrive.
Yeah.
What does Hyperdrive accomplish that a traditional or a non custom theme would accomplish for the client?
Yeah, so for us, we spent a considerable amount of time on the back end of the website as well. So when
Yep.
clients want to have a page builder,
Yep.
um, most time people like us, don't want that happening, right? Because
Yep.
there's
Of
just so
course.
much code bloat. So what we've done is we've actually created kind of a page building experience in a modular based format, with their brand, with their styles, all the accoutrements on the back end, so that clients can edit it easily. And then on the front end, it's still allows it to perform where we need it to perform, which is site speed, responsiveness, not just on certain platforms, but actually being responsive on percentage-based containers as well. So I think there's a lot built into it that, I think people assume technology is so approachable nowadays.
Yep.
But a lot of that's built into it. So for us, we're calling it a framework extension, right? It's not a theme, it's not a builder in that regard, but we've built all the best components that you need to rank for it on one end, but also still allowing it to be client friendly on the other end.
Yeah. And does it, you mentioned earlier in your intro that it's SEO optimized. Is it CTA conversion optimized as well? Because I think that's just as important,
Yeah.
right? At the end of the day.
100%. Yes, that's built into our process as we move somebody from their current website onto our Hyperdrive platform. We actually give them a refreshed homepage to kind of set the tone. So it's not a redesign, but for all intents and purposes, a lot of the clients, all of them have said, "Hey, I love this," right? And it's because we actually take a lot of those UX principles, conversion-based principles, and bake it into that homepage design to show them. And then that gets carried out throughout the whole website. Now, if there's big sites like 50 or 100 pages, we'll send them over some more design examples of interior body pages, things like that. But yeah, we bake all of those principles into it because, again, with our background being in the business growth field, we need to make sure the site converts well.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we all know is there's great designers out there, but they don't always take things like conversions into effect. They're good at the design side, and it's a bit of a pet peeve of mine. If the design of the website is good, but you don't get conversions or CTAs out of it, what's the point? Like that's kind of where I sit, right? So
100%. That's where I sit too. And that goes with any position. I mean, even when you're talking about content writing or development, like you could have people that are great in silos, but if they're not, understanding the common goal of growing a business and what that looks like and educating those ideal customers into that process, right? That's all for naught. So, yeah.
What's it take? So let's walk down through a fictitious company. Acme Corporation, we all know them from Wooly Coyote and Bugs Bunny days, comes to you. Yeah, you're smiling at me. I'm dating myself now. Comes to you
No,
and
I
says,
love it.
we need to move to hyperdrive. So
Yeah.
what are we talking in cost and what are we talking in time and how does the process kind of go?
Yeah, so on our website now, we actually say 7 days start to finish. It would be 7 of our
Yep.
days, so to speak, right? Because there needs to be client review time.
Yep,
Typically,
of
a
course.
total process is 20 to 30 days all in. It's very easy. So client signs up, right? There's tier-based pricing based upon the page count. So those are 3 levels right now that we have based on pages that are, up to 10 pages, 11 to 25, or I think it's higher than that, and then 50-page sites. And so that's all flat rate pricing. Step 1 is obviously, quoting it out, getting the client on board with it. Step 2 is sending them over that homepage refresh that I was telling you about in design. We like to use Figma, at least for right now. Client reviews it, they give us the green light, and then it goes straight into development, transfer it all over onto a staging site. Send that staging site to the client, get the green light on that, and then we actually flip it live and do all the post-site optimization as well. Again, we're only doing lateral transfers, current content, existing URLs. I like to transfer everything laterally first as to not shake anything up rankings wise. And then from there, obviously we help our clients on a digital marketing aspect or a partnership aspect and can pour into the site to continue to grow it. But just based on the Hyperdrive product itself, it's the client's site to own. And so most clients that do the Hyperdrive with us, I wouldn't say most, sorry, I would say some clients have just done the Hyperdrive website and then been off to the races and they're fine. Other clients have signed up for further business growth opportunities with us, but it's a pretty cut and dry process. And I think that's what owners like about it. It's not a 90 to 120 day process. It's let's get the website optimized, flipped up, and then we can get off to the races to growing a business.
What I will say is 9 out of 10 times, and even basic brochure sites go 90 to 120 days. It's usually on the owner, not on the agency. I mean, I find that owners tend to be the bottleneck in the process, not typically the agency. Most times, not always, but most times.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why this helps alleviate a lot of the major constraints, though, because we're transferring over a brand that an owner already loves, pictures that an owner already loves. content that they already love. We're not suggesting we don't want to change that in the future, but we have to get it on the right framework. We have to get it optimized and moving in the right direction. And so I think that's where we're able to build trust at a very quick and high level, is we're still able to bake in the UX conversion principles, the site speed principles, SEO principles that we want to bake into it by utilizing the existing brand, current content, et cetera. And so I think it's a beautiful process where we can build trust quickly and then get off to the races together.
Yep. Do you host the sites for the client, or a little bit of both, where they host, you host?
Yeah, so we have a couple options. We do host. We just have a hosting plan on our own end. Pressable, I like. WP Engine's great. Pressable's great.
Yep.
But we only host, I would say, on those types of sources right now. If clients want us to do that, we can. If they want to host on their own, they can. It's for me, it's a great way to continue that site speed and principles that we want to build into it, because as you know, hosting matters. Again, it's a client's decision if they want to take it from us. Most of the clients, actually all of them, have just stayed with us on hosting because our hosting prices alone are pretty cheap. If they want to get into managed hosting, that's a different ballgame, but just to host it, it's pretty cheap.
Yep. I know in the end, we take the approach that if the client hosts a site, it's got to be on a list of 5 or 6 approved hosts or our hosting. I've taken that approach because sometimes it's really hard with the unknowns, right? You put a product like this, the client, I hate to say it, goes to $3 a month hosting because they think that's a good idea. I know you're shaking your head, and we all know, here we go, right? And then it's our fault that the client doesn't have the resources to do what they want. And we all know it starts with the hosting, right? And then you know how that goes, right?
Oh yeah, that's always a bummer, because you put so much time and effort and practice into it, and then $3 hosting takes it down. Not a fan.
And frankly, it doesn't matter which host it is. They all offer it because they have to offer it. But we all know that's a mistake, and a big mistake. So, so it talks about that. When you do the hosting, do you just host, or do you take over a whole care package deal for the client?
Yeah, so if they'd like us to do managed hosting, we do that as well for some of our clients. But again, we have some clients that just want to be on our hosting platform, and they have their own, guy running it, gal running it. But yeah, we do offer managed hosting as well.
Okay, you do both. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you planning? I mean, this is like a really good product. I don't think like the pricing is out of whack from what I've seen in the space, which is good. I like the approach that you've taken, Ryan, where you haven't tried to fight with all the people at the bottom end and say, hey, let's price everybody out, because we all know in the WordPress space, I think the biggest detriment is people being too cheap. And that's their own detriment, frankly, I think. Where do you plan on taking the product? Are you planning on doing anything in the roadmap? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, great question. So, we just released this a couple months ago, right? Publicly. We've been doing this conversion process now for a year, kind of behind the scenes. I needed the data, right? I needed to test. But for us, what we wanted to do was offer a model that, if you go to any sort of like builder or a company that uses a builder, a theme, Divi, Beaver Builder, whatever name whatever source.
Insert builder here.
Yeah, insert builder. You're probably at our pricing level already, or a little bit under, right? So we wanted to make the pricing approachable. I don't believe in undercutting for the sake of it. I mean, we could do it, right? But the reality is the IP behind how we do Hyperdrive and why we do it actually has been proven for ranking and growth. And so I think there's a benefit there. But we also didn't want to be competing on the high end custom space where it's a ground up, start to finish. And so I think our pricing model landed where it did because we wanted to make this as approachable as possible to all the businesses that you and I both know need updating, right? But they never want to go down the path. All the service-based businesses that may not see the value in the full digital marketing, but getting them on the right foundation. Like what I've noticed is that when you get somebody like that on the right foundation, they actually get to see measurable results, even if it's 5% or 10%. That measurable result, that data conversation, opens up the door for their world to be opened up online and their receptiveness. And so for us, we wanted to make it as approachable as possible, but certainly still wanted the value to be there in the time and the process. So that's where we landed. In terms of where we're going, again, it's been a couple months. We've been doing this for a lot of our partners, our custom, partners in general on this framework, and it's been going exceedingly well. And so I think where we're at is, we'd love to make this approachable to everybody, and that's really where we're focused is just kind of racking up and helping people in that regard. But in terms of where this product grows into, I mean, there's natural spinoffs of, okay, now you're ready for the digital marketing package. Okay, now you're ready for the partnership, right? So I think that's where the spinoffs for us occur. But as a standalone product, I think there's no holds bar. We want to make it as approachable and open to as many WordPress websites as we can.
Yeah, while you were talking, I actually wrote a couple of things down. One was measurable, and the other was data analytics. And I like to come back to the thought. A lot of small business owners who would be interested in your product, they're walking in, they have no clue what their numbers are. And we know that, right? You get in these conversations, and the first thing I say to clients is, oh, yeah, you got this website you want to redesign. What are your numbers? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you run a business not knowing what your biggest marketing tools numbers are? Like that to me is a big problem, right? And I think you guys see it all the time, don't you?
We do. So we actually have an example, companies doing over $2 million a year in business. I'll leave the company's name out of this.
Please do.
Great company, great owner, just focused on developing a great product, right? They're not focused on the online. I think the online came as a bit of a surprise to him because of how successful the project was. And, with technology, again, being so approachable, when you're on platforms like Shopify or WooCommerce, like they're already tracking orders, right? And again, that's what a lot of owners care about is how many orders are coming in. And so, but it was a little funny to me because I said, okay, we need access to your Google Analytics account, Google Search Console. Like we'll transfer everything over for you. We'll check up on it. And he said, what's that? And I said, oh dear, we got to get all that set up for you. So he'd been running a very successful website, right, without any sort of Google Search Console, Google Analytics, things of that nature. And so again, I'm just so excited for him because of the opportunity in the future. Once you get all that set up, you actually have data coming in. He has data coming in by way of orders, but to understand like the marketing funnel and how to best capitalize on the marketing funnel into the sales pipeline process, right? A lot of that needs to be set up still. So you've touched on a great point. A lot of small business owners, they don't know what they don't know, and that's okay. They're great at what they do, but we have to be great at what we do to help empower them.
Oh, I agree. So heartily agree. And I mean, I personally don't think GA4 is the answer to all answers. There are some third-party
not at all.
analytics package. I think Google personally made a mess at GA4, having spent way too much time in it.
100%.
I just shake my head every day. It's like help.
I'll tell you, I have team members that shake their head, and I shake my head every day. And that's what I wasn't really suggesting. Like GA4 is the answer, but like just having some sort of baseline metrics, right? Truth be told, I enjoy HubSpot. Like our agency loves HubSpot. I know I get a lot of flack on both sides of the equation. Well, you have other things that are cheaper and other things that are better. And like, no, for me, HubSpot is exceedingly flexible. The data that comes out of it is awesome. And then when you have call tracking, software like call tracking metrics plugged into it, now we're getting somewhere, right? So yeah,
I agree.
GA4 is definitely not the answer. Jeez.
So you got, yeah, I know. It's okay. So you got a product like this, and I can't have a conversation with this, and you've already mentioned the two dreaded letters every marketing conversation has, and that's AI, right? We all know where that's going. We all know what AI's done to our industry. We all know how AI is changing how people like you and I do our work every day, right? There's no question. Are you factoring AI into the product? Are you trying to avoid it? Or especially with things like search and SEO, like where are you going now?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say we're sticking to the principles of what got and what gets our websites ranking well, and that's indexing. Of course, I think indexing is overlooked phenomenally, and I don't know why the community overlooks it, and not all the time, but I'm just saying that's a factor that nobody really pushes on as much. And so I think those principles of being able to index well will always be tried and true. Especially when it comes to AI, like they're pulling in other social signals, brand principles, certifications, a lot of offsite principles. But right now we can be great at the onsite principles. And that's what we're focused on. In the future, though, if people have other sort of accreditations, the BBB is an accreditation, at least here, where I've seen, right? Okay, that's an accreditation most business owners don't want to be a part of, but it's an accreditation that's widely known. And so like we have to examine that. And then social, right? A lot of the AI sources are pulling in social presence, engagement. I mean, heck, you brought up Instagram, they're being indexed now, right? Like we're seeing
They
these
are.
trends continue to move. And so I think we have to be aware of these principles, but we don't have any sort of like AI engine, in the back end of Hyperdrive right now. I think our focus will be how do we continue to get our websites reporting the way that they need to and index the way that they need to, right now. But who knows what the future holds? I mean, from January until now, AI has taken tremendous leaps and bounds. You and I can
Don't
sit around
even
and
ask. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
We could,
like
that's a
last year.
conference.
Well, and I think we talked about this earlier. Like last year, like AI was terrible. Google My Business backend and analytics backend and ads backend, like they started instituting AI on the back end, and people like us saw it because there was red flags everywhere where they didn't need to be red flags because AI just started false flagging everything. And so from last year right to this year where it's a completely different animal, who knows what next year's going to look like.
Yeah. AI is just, I just know, like, from my standpoint, when I go do a search, I'm probably going to Gemini before I go to a traditional Google search. It's just the way I function right now. It's just as easy. And
Yep.
I don't know if I shared this with you, but it's kind of interesting. I did an AI experiment where I took my partner's name. Now, she's not on Facebook at all. Well, she's on Facebook a little
Mhm.
bit. She's almost not on Instagram. She is, but it's being indexed, and she doesn't have a web presence. She's the admin, the office admin for a big insurance broker. Okay.
Mhm.
And I took her name and I threw it in AI and said, in front of her, this was an experiment I
That's
had
fun.
not tried. Oh, yeah, it was fun. Now, anybody who listens to this podcast knows this. What she's one of the three people this podcast is dedicated to. Everybody knows who listens to this podcast. I did a separate episode explaining why. Okay,
Mhm.
early on, and I'm working on a book, and the first volume's out, and the book is dedicated to her for a number of reasons. And sure enough, AI pulled all that out from different places and said, and by the way, didn't quite say she's my partner, said it's somebody very enduring to Rob. It was just really interesting. And she looked at it and said, oh my God. And I said, that's the power of AI right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And even I think it was OpenAI's owner was even reporting on, the amount of long tail keyword
Yep.
searches in
Yep.
search versus
Yep.
what AI is experiencing. It's long tail times 100, right? So the amount of data and trust that they're collecting from consumers, uh, is absolutely insane. So your specific example is like many other specific examples where people are feeding it. They're feeding the beast, so to speak, right? And it's just
Mhm.
growing in bounds that search isn't. And so yeah, that's pretty incredible though.
Yeah, I share that story because I know it's not directly what we're talking about, but it shows you the power of AI, right?
Oh
And that's
yeah.
why it's, and I think honestly, I think it's making jobs like your agencies and my agency's jobs easier, right? Not more difficult.
Yeah.
I spend way too much time in Gemini every week. That's kind of my tool of choice.
I love it.
The way I say to people is, if you want to use ChatGPT, go ahead. You want to use Gemini, go ahead. But find a tool, find the one you guys like, and
Yep.
standardize on it. Don't buy
Yep.
10 tools. You don't need 10 unless AI is your business, and then that's a different ballgame. But kind of
Yeah.
figure out what you want and go from there.
I agree.
Um,
Yeah, you can't put a toe in the water. Gemini is great. We love Gemini. I love ChatGPT as well, but I
yeah,
use
yeah.
Gemini because I'm convinced it's a Google product, so it's going to rank us better. But you're also talking to a guy that has a Google Pixel phone, so I'm so far down the conspiracy rabbit hole of adopting Google products to rank better. It's unreal, right? But those are my top two.
Google Pixel phone in my hand,
There
my
we
friend.
go.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm on a Pixel right now. I'm on a Pixel 9 Pro. This
Yep.
is my fourth Pixel phone.
Yep.
I'll share that. I went through the 4A. Thank God I was off to 4A before the battery fiasco. I went
Oh
to
gosh.
I went to a what did I go to? I went to a 5. I went to a 6 and then not a 6, a 7 and a 9 Pro. So there you go. So I'm down that road already. So there's
I
no
love it.
and you're probably as a design agency, I would think you're on a Mac, I would bet probably.
We have a mix. Yeah, we use Mac and PC.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a Windows guy. I always have been.
Yep. Yep. I'm a Windows
Well,
guy too.
one of the reasons I am is I spent 21 years in tech support for a major trial hospital, and we were mostly a Windows shop. So
Yeah.
my whole thing is, and I hate to say it, I don't like the Mac versus PC, the Android versus Apple
Yeah.
fights anymore. I think get what you're comfortable with. I think we're at a point
Yeah.
in technology, it's worth mentioning, even with AI. Just make sure you get a machine with lots of memory. Make sure you get a phone with lots of storage and memory. Don't go on the cheap end because
Yep.
if you're going to do anything with AI, it kind of requires it. But I mean, the devices all do the same thing now, right? So,
Yeah, and it's all proportional, right? I don't think people are going to see a discrepancy in value, right, proportionally to what they're paying for one phone versus the other. It's you got to be comfortable with it. We're a mix,
yeah.
right? Our office is a mix. We have some people that enjoy Mac and others like myself that are on Pixel and Windows, and that's okay. Get what you enjoy using because you'll be more productive.
I love you more and more. Your attitude's exactly where mine is at. So, and by the way, in the corner over there, I have a Chromebook sitting there, and behind
Yes,
me, I've got a media server running Linux. So there you go. So
there
you
you
want to
go,
talk about
baby.
you want to talk a mixed environment. There you go. Ryan, amen. Thanks so much for talking about your product. If they want to find more about you, your agency, Hyperdrive, where are the best places to go?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Some of the best places are hyperdrivewp.com and then striventa.com, striventa.com. On Striventa's site, if anybody's listening and they enjoy cookies, you scroll down, there's a free cookie call to action purely because I want people to accept not just online cookies of ours, but also in-person cookies of ours. It's a
Awesome.
terrible dad joke, but that's where I'm at in life, and I'm gonna own it. But they're really
Yeah,
tasty
yeah.
too. So
I love
you
it.
get
I
free
love
you,
it.
you get free cookies. But yeah, Striventa and hyperdrivewp.com.
Hey, man, thanks for joining me, and you have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks so much for having me.
This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. A very special thank you to Ryan for joining me on this edition of the SDM. The SDM show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.